Chris Rock is here. When it comes to race in America, politics in America, culture in America, his stand-up routines are fearless. He's won Grammys for his comedy albums and Emmys for television writing. His latest special on HBO is Kill the Messenger. It brings together his recent tour to London, South Africa, and New York. Here is a part of it.
Somebody must have said something about our mother or something. Over there looking for weapons of mass destruction, couldn't even find a super soaker. There's more weapons of mass destruction in T.I.'s trunk than the whole Iraq. And what the happened to bin Laden? What happened to bin Laden? They used to talk about him all the time. Now they don't even mention no bin Laden. Now, I hate to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but I don't believe bin Laden really existed. I don't believe it. A 7-foot diabetic Muslim lives in a cave like Dr. Evil. There's no electricity, yet his camcorder is fully charged. This guy did more movies than Sam Jackson last year. That's right. I think bin Laden and Borat are the same person.
I am pleased to have Chris Rock back at this table. It's just all out there. There's more good material for you to take up.
It's a good time to be on stage. It's a wealth.
So how do you see the political race?
How do I see the political race? You mean John McCain versus Barack Obama?
That first.
How do I see it?
You're a Barack supporter.
I'm a Barack supporter, yes. I'm a Barack supporter. Yeah. Because I want a change.
So you think Obama's going to beat McCain?
I hope Obama beats McCain. I really do. Yeah. I think it's time for a change, especially looking at the way the economy is right now, having traveled throughout the world this year, just being on tour. You know, the dollar's just not worth anything, man.
No, it went down. As we tape this on Monday, big time down today.
I mean, and I'm not an economist or anything like that.
You could have fooled me.
I just go by. I get off get out of my car.
Get out of your jet.
I get out of my jet, and I give the guys carrying my bags, I give him a dollar. He looks at me like I'm crazy. It's like the homeless won't take $1.
You know what, they look at you and they say,
you got any francs? You got any pounds?
How about a euro here?
You got a euro? Because we don't want this dollar.
We don't want any more.
You got anything? Piece of chicken? Something?
Do the jokes play different in London and South Africa and New York?
You know what's weird? They don't. Funny is funny is funny. Yeah. All this stuff they tell you about comedy not translating and about black people not doing well overseas is nonsense. It's bull. I went and it's weird. I had a situation where I put a movie out and it did okay, and then like the studio didn't want to release it around the world, and then they give you this thing, black people.
This is the last movie you made?
Yeah, and so it kind of lit a fire under me. I'm like, this is nonsense. So I call up my guys. I'm like, you know what? I'm playing the whole world. And I played I played all of Europe, and I played Australia, and I played South Africa, and I played, went to New Zealand. And you know what? Funny's funny. It works all over the world. It's playing other countries. It's kind of like playing colleges, in a sense. Like, if you play Michigan, you have to say Ohio State sucks at some point.
Right. I understand. I was just going to ask you that.
At some point, you have to say Ohio State sucks. Yeah. So you have to give them a little bit to let them know you're working for them.
Right.
Like when they do Madagascar or Shrek or one of the movies, they change jokes per territory.
I didn't know that.
So they add, they don't change the movie, but they add a little. So if there's a Regis joke in America, the joke becomes
whoever the local Regis is.
Whoever the Regis of Australia is. Yeah. So yes, I had to do that a couple of places. Now I'm thinking like the next time I do a movie, I want to like circle a few jokes and make sure I film them. And make sure I have variations for different territories.
Yeah. Now, the last movie you made, you wrote it, you directed it, you starred in it, you produced it maybe? I don't know.
Okay.
Now, it didn't do as well as you might have wanted it to.
Hey, I got to make a movie.
Exactly right.
You know what?
And it's a learning experience.
You got to make a movie. Yeah. Somebody gave you a loan that you didn't have to pay back.
But how do you look at it now? I mean, you don't look at it. You're not walking around saying, oh, my God, I don't want to talk to you because I made that movie.
No.
You say, I got to make a movie. I made a movie. But do you look at it clinically at all to say, well, what might I have done other than localizing the jokes?
You look at it, you have to, first of all, you know if a movie works before you do it. Before it comes out.
Did you know that?
Yes.
And did it work for you before it came out?
It worked absolutely, and we tested, and, no one just puts a movie out. Right. They know if it's going to work or not.
Oh, they don't put it out.
Or they don't put it out. And,
Straight
and then
to DVD.
Sometimes movies are funny, and, it's all about the sell. So, the last movie was, what is it? I Think I Love My Wife, about a guy having an affair and all this stuff. And that's
based on an old...
old French movie. That's not an easy sell.
Claire's Knee or something?
Yeah, that's not Iron Man. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So, the next movie I do, I'm reading scripts now, will be an easier sell.
Yeah.
But I'll put the same exact work and time into the movie. I don't.
And your ability doesn't go bad from one movie to another.
No.
You bring the same talent, the same energy,
bring the
same everything.
talent and everything, and I'll think more about the sell before I do the movie.
Delivery. You got the joke. You know the line. You know it's funny. How much difference does it make for delivery, and does that change?
It does. Some guys. Delivery is a lot. A lot of it's timing.
Timing. Jack Benny, famous for timing.
It's all about timing. I think most good comedy is on the 4, just like most pop music's on the 4. It's like, it's on the 4. You watch a guy like the guy with the best timing I think I've ever seen is probably Robin Williams. Yeah. He has an amazing to the point. Sometimes I've watched him like at clubs and he's ad-libbing, and the thing he said wasn't even that funny. But he said it at the exact right time, and the audience erupts.
They're even laughing before he delivers.
Yeah, because the timing's there. And then like a week later, a month later, he figures out the joke. But his timing is so impeccable. I mean, the timing of Robin Williams. Or, a guy like Letterman, Johnny Carson had like amazing, perfect timing. He had that slow... more of a jazz timing, with just like perfect timing.
Now, can you learn that? Is that an acquired skill, or is that a kind of like the ability to, having the capacity to?
Timing.
A natural athlete versus a non-natural athlete.
Timing's like an athletic thing. Yeah. It's like you have no control over it. It's just what you're born with. It's and your timing's. It's not even about comedians. Your timing's probably closest to your dad or one of your uncles. Like, my timing comes literally from my grandfather,
I remember you saying once that you knew a lot of people in your family were funnier than you are. There was just something about getting on stage and doing it and having people laugh at you that...
Yeah, I mean, I grew up with guys funnier than me, and there's people in my family funnier than me, and, I'm sure Michael Jordan grew up with guys. I'm sure there's guys out there right now that can say, I beat Michael Jordan.
Didn't make the team when he was a freshman.
Guys out there that used to kill him.
Yeah.
That he might even be scared to play today because that guy.
I don't know about that.
He's like,
I think he jumped on a rocket ship and they're
once
saying.
You get in somebody's head, relationships have a weird way of reverting to where they were. I'm like that with my brothers sometimes. It's like, our relationships are different until something goes wrong. Yeah. Then all of a sudden I'm the big brother again. Yeah. As soon as something's wrong, hey, what are we going to do?
We saw bin Laden here. I mean, tell me what the art of that is. I mean, bin Laden is a recognizable name.
Yes.
And people, all of a sudden, there's some truth in this to make people laugh at it. It's not just... Tell me what I'm searching for.
What are you searching? I don't know.
Yeah, but there's the idea it has to be some connection, some truth. I mean, there is some sense that we haven't seen bin Laden.
We haven't
seen him. He's been knocked
him
off the front page, and you come in and see that and make it funny.
Well, I'm not really... People always go, oh, you're the political comedian. No. Bill Maher's a political comedian. Jon Stewart's a political comedian. I try to talk about politics like people in a barbershop talk about politics. from the everyman's perspective, from a truck driver, from a UPS perspective of politics. And if where is bin Laden? Isn't that why we got in the war?
Yeah, and
now what's the war about? What the hell are we fighting for?
And it's to say, because he's 6'5", he's a 7-foot guy with a beard and is on a dialysis machine in a cave. Now, the rhythm of that.
In a cave, and, you know, and then you get into the real question. Does it benefit George Bush and Cheney and all these guys for bin Laden to never get caught? Where do they gain? If he's caught, you kind of have to end the war, right? They don't want to end the war.
Well.
So let's keep these videotapes going. We got any more tapes? Let's break out that Christmas tape.
Who brought us those tapes? Why did you go back to stand-up?
You know, you got to go back. I don't really quit. I just I take a break and I try to, you know, regroup and live life and hang out with my kids and read some books and see some movies. But this was just a time to come back, man. This election and, you know, and just the economy.
The world's in change everywhere you look. It's in change.
That's my thing. It's like most comedians work all the time. And there's something about, you know, bands. There's something about bands that are always working. Right. That it's okay.
But go away for a year or so and then come back.
Hey, I love Aerosmith, but they're not the Stones. You can almost see Aerosmith any week. They're always gigging. The Stones, you know, like, hey, this might be it.
Exactly.
They may never do this again.
How many more years can these guys go?
How many more years can these guys go?
This may be the last one.
They haven't done this in 6 years. Wow, it's the Stones.
They just decided they needed another 100 million.
Yeah.
So they go back to perform.
I kind of want to be one of those guys where it's like every 3-4 years, like, wow, and it's a whole new show. And making an event, you know what I mean? Just
now you left Saturday Night Live to go to Living Color.
Yes, right?
I went to go to Living Color. I mean, it didn't fail, but it was canceled.
Not because of me.
I mean, of course not. But it went off the air a year or two later, right?
Yes.
And you did. What was the situation comedy you did last year, the year before for Fox?
Everybody Hates Chris.
Everybody Hates Chris.
Everybody Hates Chris.
Would you come back? Would you create a sitcom for yourself that, in the same way that Jerry created, Seinfeld created a family of?
I don't know if I do it right now. I mean, you know, the thought hits me from time to time. But I don't know, I like the schedule I have right now.
Stand up and movies.
I like doing stand up, all out. You know, this year I went on a world tour, so I was out for a year. I like
to prove something, or just because it was commercially viable?
Well, you know, I made some money.
Yes, I bet you
know,
did.
The economy is not bad for everybody.
Chris is doing all right.
But, you know, I remember talking to Will Smith one day. And
Speaking of making money.
And he really stressed to me, you know, the need to work the world and to be big all over the world.
Chris is global.
So I really wanted to establish that, you know, if you work with me, you know, because, you know, in movies and TV, everything is about, can we make money elsewhere?
Exactly.
You know, the American market is like, you know, it's like 40% of what they count on. So, yeah, there was a part of me that wanted to make some money. And there's also a part of me that really wanted to be an artist. And I don't, you know, performing only in America is like, you know, doing inside jokes.
Right.
And inside jokes don't really count. You know what I mean? They're just jokes for you and your friends.
Beyond continuing to do all this better, make better movies, do better stand-up, is there any is any obsession that sort of is inside of your head? There's some reach that you might want to go for, like a dramatic actor, like what?
I'd love to do some more drama. I haven't done anything in a while. Right. You know, I'm just trying to compile a real body of work. You know, and hopefully at the end they can say I tried everything I could. You know, and I want to do this until I can't do it anymore. I just saw Woody's movie, Christina, Vicky Barcelona. It's like the best movie the guy's done. It's
exactly right. I thought the same thing.
It's an amazing
movie. And he's 70-something.
He's 70-something, man. And
really is.
Woody's like really my hero, man.
And Clint too. Clint keeps doing his. Clint's coming in here in a couple of weeks with Angelina Jolie, another movie.
And I look at a guy like Woody. The guy, people forget Woody was a great stand-up, had a great talk show.
Writes articles for the New Yorker magazine.
Still writes great articles for the New Yorker and for the Times.
Right.
And and churns out a great movie.
Plays a clarinet.
Yeah. I was a DJ before I was a comedian. My next stand-up tour, I want to do a stand-up tour and a DJ tour. So I'd like literally do a show at night,
in one.
and then at basically be the DJ at my own after parties, because I used to spin records for a long time, and it's weird. A lot of the things I learned in spinning records, I apply to stand-up, because you have to learn how to really control the mood of a crowd. Yeah. When you play records, especially like when I played records, it was like the early days of rap, and it was like a lot of violence and stuff like back then.
Right.
And I used to play with these guys, the Rock Freak Crew. Like every crew of DJs had a name, and a lot of older guys, they used to get high a lot, right? So I would be like the sober kid that literally would spin most of the party. like we'd be booked to play a party. We'd get paid. My friends would take the money and get high. Me being the youngest, the nerdy guy you could count on. Okay, you spin. And I really learned how to play a party. And I learned, you couldn't play 5 great records in a row, because a fight would break out. Yeah. You had to really, if the party got too hopping, you really had to figure out, okay, something more mellow, to keep the party going. And when you wanted people
you couldn't take them too high.
You couldn't take them too high. Yeah. And when you wanted them to leave, you had to play some stuff that would make them leave. And you know what I mean? You would create a mood. And, I try to do the same thing with my stand-up. I'm out there for 2 hours, and it's a whole show, beginning, middle, and end.
You don't like one more than the other, do you? I mean, you came about us.
I love doing movies. I love doing TV. I love sitting around with guys writing jokes. I love hosting award shows. I love doing stand-up. I love it all. I love being in show business, How can you not like being in show business? You know what I mean? It's it's a great job, no matter what job.
Exactly.
If I was in the crew right now, if I was back there giving some guy coffee to come out here and do the show, I'd be happy. I'm in show business.
Yeah. And how do you feel about audiences? Because the best is George Clooney, or one of the best. I mean, Clooney still thinks he's not. You go up to him in a restaurant,
right?
He's nice to you. People come by, and he has a great attitude about this. These guys buy the tickets. I owe them something in terms of not everything, but something.
Yeah, you should be nice to. You should be nice even to the people that are idiots.
Yes, that's right.
To you, because you have a responsibility to them, and I try to be nice to just about everybody, and it's a small price to pay for the way I live. I work hard, but I don't work harder than
somebody
my brother.
said to me about you that you live below your means, and in other words, you don't live expansively. Is that right or not right, or doesn't really know?
I got one house.
Yeah, is it?
It's a nice
Unlike
house.
John McCain, you don't have 7.
Unlike John McCain, who's a big baller. I got one house. I had 2 cars.
Yeah.
15 years ago, I got 2 cars now.
You have 2 iPods, because you have one with speech and one with
I don't
music.
Really, I'm not about things. I never got really hooked on things.
Anything you want, you don't have.
No.
Just keep it going.
I just want
healthy. Stay healthy. Keep it going.
Opportunity. Yeah. That's all I want. I just want opportunity and options, because that's what rich really is. Rich is having options.
Exactly right. It is having options.
Rich is being able to go, I don't want to do that. I want to do this.
Yeah, exactly. Steve Jobs from Apple made a famous commencement speech at Stanford Business School, one of the most quoted business commencement speeches ever. And he basically ended by saying, stay foolish and stay hungry, which is it, isn't it?
That is kind of it, really. It's kind of it. I mean, he should have said, stay foolish and stay hungry till you have kids. Then do the right thing. Then get rid of that foolishness.
It's great to see you again.
It's great to be here.
Thank you.
All righty.
Thank you for joining us. See you next time.